Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 8bitdo M30. Let's get started. If you're not familiar with the M30, it is one of 8bitdo's Bluetooth controllers, and this one resembles the Sega Genesis controller. Now today I'll be reviewing the Bluetooth version of the M30. It's not to be mistaken here with the 2.4G version that plugs directly into the Genesis. I previously did a video on the release of the M30. It's compatible with Windows, Mac, Android, Nintendo Switch, and the Raspberry Pi. I'm also going to be reviewing the smartphone clip that attaches to the M30 because I think it is a very necessary addition. Now I did a full unboxing of this. Unfortunately, I cannot find the video. I don't know what I did. I might have accidentally deleted it. But anyways, it wasn't really anything special. In the old 8bitdo packages, they used to contain things like the 8bitdo keychain. This was pretty slimmed down. The box was okay, but nothing special inside of the box, so I will just say that. Inside the box, and everything's listed right here, was the controller, an instruction manual, and a USB-C cable. In the box for the phone clip was nothing but the phone clip and some plastic wrap. So there was really nothing surprising there, but here is the phone clip in all of its glory. I've had a chance to use this for a few weeks now with my Android phone and also on my computer. I can say that I think this might be one of 8bitdo's best controllers ever made. Now for comparisons, I have used Bluetooth controllers, a number of them over the years. Most notably, I'll have a few listed right here: the Moga Hero, the GameSurf 4GS, and just for the heck of it, another 8bitdo controller. Now these 8bitdo controllers I find are some of the best ones on the market. I did a teardown actually of this 8bitdo gamepad here. This is the SFC30. Now when I did a teardown, I compared it to the original SNES controller as well as the SNES Mini controller. And a fun fact, I'll leave a link to the video in the description below as well. Fun fact, this controller here more closely resembled the original SNES controller than the SNES Mini controller did. If you are wondering, I did take my green screen down. This is my game room behind me. There's a massive CRT, so I do apologize if you see some reflections in that. But where to start on this M30? I think first and foremost, I'm going to talk about the design. So this was inspired by the Sega Genesis controller, and I have a Sega Genesis 6-button controller right here. So first and foremost, the shapes for both controllers are quite different. The Genesis controller is more of a boomerang-ish style, where this is, I would say, closer to a dog bone style. There is a groove right on the top here. Now looking at the back, both do have grooves cut out of the back for your fingertips to hold onto. So the 8bitdo is slightly different than the Sega Genesis one. You can see here, the 8bitdo is wider, whereas the Genesis controller is slightly taller. Now let's talk about the buttons on the face. So first and foremost, there are 6 action buttons each, just right here. So the Sega Genesis, some of the pads, some of the older pads do just have the 3, like for example the Sega Genesis Mini just have the 3 buttons down here, just A, B, and C. They do not have X, Y, and Z. Now the 8bitdo M30 has the exact same layout in that regard. They have 6 action buttons right on the face. They're very similar size buttons. I wouldn't say they're different at all. The big difference between the two is that the 8bitdo buttons are a little more clicky because they are newer, they feel newer, whereas this Sega Genesis controller has been through its paces. It's been around quite a while, it has seen a lot of love, and the buttons are considerably more worn. Now, back when this was new, the buttons would probably feel pretty comparable to the 8bitdo M30. The start button for each controller is roughly in the same place. The D-pad, I prefer the 8bitdo's D-pad over the Genesis controller here. That's mainly because the Genesis controller is well worn. This D-pad has been used quite a bit versus a D-pad that's pretty brand new. Now the 8bitdo also has some extra buttons on the front. It's got a star button right here, which can be used for things like turbo, or for example on the Switch, it'll be the screenshot button. Now in terms of this middle button right here, that's select. And this button over here on the right side can be used for things like home. So another neat little feature that this 8bitdo controller has are L and R buttons. So it's got the L1, R1, Also, it has L2 and R2 if you really think about it. So if we take a look, for example, at a DualShock 4, I've got one right here. You can see it's got 4 face buttons as well as 4 triggers. Now, comparison, that totals 8 buttons, right? Now compare that to the 8bitdo, where it has the 6 face buttons and 2 triggers, totaling 8 buttons. So they both have 8 buttons. What happens with the 8bitdo controller is this button here works as R1 and this button here works as L1. So you have R1, L1, R2, and L2. And I think that's pretty amazing. So if you are playing a game that you do need those extra buttons, this is pretty awesome. Now overall, I really feel that this M30 by 8bitdo is an incredibly comfortable controller. I think it's better than the Sega Genesis controller. I honestly think it might be one of 8bitdo's best controllers. Now comparing that though with the SNES controller, I will still say the SNES controller is one of my favorite controllers of all time. However, there is a catch. This 8bitdo SNES controller is amazing if you're not using it with a clip. So this also comes with a phone clip, just like the M30. You have to purchase it separately, but it does attach to this controller. So the big issue with this is that the weight of the new phones. I have a Note 9. It is a very, very heavy phone. Using that with this controller is not the most comfortable experience. Using this with a smaller, lighter cell phone, not really an issue. But if you're using this with a phone clip and a heavy phone, it tends to not be the best experience. Compared to the M30, which has a bit better of a shape for more weight. And I say that if you take a look at the SNES right here versus the Genesis style, or the M30, I guess, because it's not so much like a Genesis controller. More of a dog bone shape here. You can see both sides fit into the palms of your hand just a little bit better. The SNES has a flat back, which doesn't really leave any grip room for your fingertips, where this does have the indent. So this, with the weight of a phone, does feel considerably better. Now 8bitdo does have the SN Pro, which does have handles very similar to this controller here. So the SN Pro has both triggers, it's got the handles, it's got 2 analog sticks, which is a great experience, but then you start to lose portability. And that's also where this M30 excels. It's very, very portable because it's a small controller. It might be slightly too big to fit into a pocket, but putting it into a bag will not be that much of an issue. And it's very, very light. And just to show you how the extender works, it used to be called the extender and I still call it that. I think they call it a phone clip now, so I do apologize if you're wondering why I'm calling it the extender. That was the original product name a few years back, and it's stuck with me ever since. So here it is. Let's clip it onto the phone. There's 2 little clips at the top, 2 little clips at the bottom. There's also an indicator light. I did forget to mention that. There's an indicator light for what position the controller's in. For example, if it's a Player 2 controller, it will be lit up. Very similar to the Wiimote, where you can see what position the controller is. But anyways, let's flip this on. Let's clip this on. It goes on pretty straightforward and pretty easy. So that's on just like that. It's on pretty sturdy. This is very springy. If you're wondering about size comparisons, this is a Note 9, not a small phone. I also have a case on my Note 9 here. So let's put that in. It fits absolutely no problem. So this is my Note 9 with the M30 controller and the phone clip. And you can see it's pretty sturdy in there. It's really easy to hold this. The controller fits really nicely in the palms of my hand. It's very, very comfortable. The triggers are not in the way of anything. Unlike the Moga, where the Moga, if you've got a phone in there, the Moga triggers are very hard to access. This is completely free. There's nothing blocking me whatsoever. So this is really great. The buttons are great. I don't have an issue at all with a heavy, massive size phone in here. And honestly, that's where I think this thing really shines. Now, a drawback, obviously, is it does not have dual control sticks. So if you are playing a game that need dual analog sticks, this controller probably won't suit those needs. Now, in terms of input latency, this really isn't that bad. It's actually pretty good. Bluetooth controllers generally do have lag or latency because it takes time for the signal to get from the controller to your device, whether you're using it on a computer or on an Android phone. There is time taken with any wireless controller, with any kind. Wireless versus wired. Usually wired is the faster option, but the Bluetooth on this is actually pretty solid. There isn't much input latency at all. It's very, very good. 8bitdo usually has pretty good input latency. It's better than the Moga, it's better than the GameSir. I find it very crisp. So if we take a look here, I do have my phone up. You can see how quickly it takes to register the jump. So I'll just hit jump. And it's almost instant. Now I'll hit the light punch button here. And you can see the time it takes to press the button versus the time it takes to register the hit. So it's pretty close to the exact same. Now I also have my other 8bitdo controller connected as well as player 2. And you can see that one is pretty much the same as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if both of these controllers actually had the same Bluetooth radio on here. It would make sense. But anyways, it works very, very well. Very, very low input latency in my opinion. In terms of using it on the PC in wired mode, it's amazing. In terms of Bluetooth on the PC, it's comparable to the Android experience. Now, is the 8bitdo M30 a must-buy? I would say if you're looking for a Bluetooth controller and you don't care about the analog sticks, then absolutely yes. It's 30 bucks. It's not very expensive at all. The phone clip is 10 bucks. So you'd be spending roughly 40 bucks and you get the phone clip and the controller all together. Now, in terms of portability, this is amazing. In terms of quality, it's also very good. I haven't had any issues yet. Mind you, I've only had it for a few weeks. So if there is an issue, any issue whatsoever, I will do a follow-up video. I did one when I had original battery issues with early run models of this 8bitdo a few years back. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. I'm still going to be using this, putting it through its paces. But right now, for a portable solution to use with my phone, this M30 has replaced the SFC30 that I used to use. If you do have any questions about the M30, let me know in the comments below, because this is pretty much my daily driver now for Android gaming. It does not have control sticks, but for me that doesn't really matter because I play mostly retro stuff on my phone. Anyways, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.